A Fox News alert, thousands forced to flee their houses as Texas braces for more flooding and torrential rains. The White House kicking into high gear with the president heading to the disaster zone tomorrow.
U.S. Secretary and former U.S. Secretary of Energy and former Texas Governor Rick Perry spoke with the president this weekend. He joins us now. I guess you have dual responsibilities, your insight and interest in Texas, as well as the energy sector, which matters so much after life and death. So, Governor, right now, how can you assess Texas's response so far to this catastrophic hurricane?
Well, the governor's in charge. He's done a really good job of being able to manage this. This is a very, very difficult storm. So, having been through some of these myself as the governor, I'm very impressed with the way Governor Abbott is handling this. The coordination between Texas and the national, whether it's FEMA, et cetera, has been very good. So I think the response, you know, there's always going to be people on the sidelines that criticize, says, well, you should have done this or you should have done that. And the fact is, after 14 years of being the governor, watching a number of storms, some of them pretty severe, nothing as big as this one, I don't believe, though. I would have to say that Governor Abbott, the people of the state of Texas, particularly the private sector. I would tell you the faith-based community here, Brian, is going to have a very, very big role in this going forward when it comes to housing, putting these people up. I know there's been a big outreach to citizens to help on the search and rescue side. And, you know, we're watching a very, very thoughtful, I think, well-orchestrated effort in the face of a massive, massive storm that Mother Nature's thrown at the state of Texas. Our prayers are out there for our people and for Louisiana. They may be going to end up in part of this storm as well. So the preparation's over in our neighboring state. I know they're getting ready for that as well.
Well, Mr. Secretary, I hate to politicize this, but many people are questioning, was it a political move when you have the governor, who's a Republican? He was telling everyone to evacuate on Friday. It wasn't mandatory because maybe it's not his place to do that, but he looked to the local government. They started essentially making fun of him on Twitter, saying, evacuate? Are you kidding? This is not going to be that big of a deal. Don't evacuate. A lot of people are frustrated now because the mayor, a bunch of Democrats, were basically laughing at the governor, and now look at this situation. So was it a political move? Why didn't the mayor ask for a mandatory evacuation, knowing this storm was as big as it was?
Yeah, I think spending any time trying to be critical at this particular point in time is a real disservice. We got people whose lives are in jeopardy here. It's always difficult to, you know, you try to move 2.5 million people out. We did that, and I think in 2005 and with one of the major storms that we had, there are challenges on both sides of this. So, you know, let's focus on the search and rescue. Then we'll get focused on the recovery. I think everyone will be better served in that than sitting on the sidelines and saying, here's how I would have done it.
So the president's going to be there tomorrow. I'm sure you've spoken to him specifically about where to go and how to approach this. What do you expect the president to do, or is it just more of an inspirational visit? What role could he play?
Well, the president's really engaged in this. As I've said, you know, been involved with a number of major natural disasters over the course of the years. This president is as engaged in a personal way as any president that I had the privilege to work with. He wants to come to Texas. Matter of fact, he wanted to come today, but he realizes that this is too early. Tomorrow, most likely, he'll be at one of the evacuation shelters, would be my guess. I don't know that. They'll make that decision, I think, later in the day. But the president wants to be around some people, let them know that the federal government is a partner in this. We recognize, we respect the state's role in this effort, that they're leading this. We're assisting them. We're leaning forward as far as we can in this. But the president is very, very engaged. He knows exactly what's going on. Interestingly, Brian, he's multitasking at the same time. He's got a lot of other things going on as the President of the United States that he's dealing with halfway around the world right here in this country. He's going to be going, I think, Wednesday to do some events on the domestic side. So this is a president who can multitask. It's a president who cares about his people greatly, and we're seeing the reflection of that in his actions.
He's got his tax speech on Wednesday in Missouri.
Indeed.
We know we pardoned Sheriff Arpaio on Friday. Some weren't pleased by that. but then in between North Korea is testing missiles. So it's not easy. It's never easy to be the President of the United States, especially now.
Indeed.
Mr. Secretary, what do you recommend? You've been in this situation being the governor of Texas before. What organizations are the best for us to give to? I know we've got Reverend Franklin Graham coming on to talk about Samaritan's Purse. You hear about the Red Cross and Salvation Army. What, in your experience, is the best way we can help those great folks down in Texas?
Yeah, all of those are great organizations. The Baptist Men's Organization is a group that, in every one of our major disaster, Baptist men were out there. The Boy Scouts, you're going to see Boy Scouts doing some things that are, kind of outside of their normal activities. You're going to see Boy Scout camps being used as places to house people over the course of the months. One of the things I really want to drive home today, Ainsley, is how long this recovery is going to last. The models that we've had historically, you can throw them out the window. This is going to be a really, really long recovery. It's going to take a long time for people to be brought back to any semblance of normalcy in many areas of the state. So the faith-based community may play one of the most important roles in this long term, and that's what they've historically done. This president, he will salute that. He will help them. He will support the faith-based community going forward as one of the major resources to help these people.
Yeah.
All right, Governor / Secretary, always a Texan. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Godspeed. So long.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you again. There's a few better people to talk to and something like that. We already talked about energy, but that's going to be another thing. After you save life, you wonder about gas prices and the whole oil business.
Right, right.
So have them back again.